Story time in prison.
The man doing time for assassinating one of the rebels' bikie gang's heaviest hitters has been penning his memoirs. Nick Martin, who was once a stand-in national president of the rebels, took a bullet in the chest in 2020 while watching a drag racing meet in Perth. We can't tell you the name of the man who shot him, and not because he's a dentist.
Morning, Rob.
It's because there's a court-imposed suppression order that bans anyone identifying him.
Say my name.
If I did, I'd be doing time, and that's not going to happen.
They pee in a cup and throw it on you.
The assassin, we're told, was hired by one of Martin's former club brothers. David Pai is currently a Mongol, but used to be a Comanchero and before that a rebel with old mate Nick.
Quite the journeyman.
Pai is due to stand trial for the murder conspiracy in October, and his lawyers have recently discovered that the man he is alleged to have contracted to kill Martin has been writing an autobiography whilst behind bars.
Dear Diary.
The question that everyone in the Australian underworld is asking is this: what other beans has this guy been spilling? He's a former member of the Australian Army turned mercenary with international guns for hire Shadows of Hope, who consorts with very senior bikies and is willing, please say, to kill on order. He was also allegedly going to use a machine gun to murder exiled Comanchero Ray Chili. And he left his staunch at the front door of the police station because he's been singing like a canary about his exploits. He's like John Wick joined the A-team and then decided to rat on everyone.
I pity the fool.
Who knows what's in that prison diary?
I know who knows.
Cops.
Yeah.
Because they've got it. And apparently it's a real page-turner, not just because of what happened when that shot rang out at the Kwinana Motorplex in Perth 4 years ago.
Kwinana is about to be in the spotlight again.
Chinese Premier Li Qiang will inspect a lithium plant there as part of a whistle-stop tour of Australia that takes in Canberra, Adelaide and Perth. I don't know who put together his very boring itinerary, but I suspect they'll be out of a job when they get home. Panda diplomacy is what they call this move.
Oh, great, because I'm hungry.
Gonna need a big bear for this one.
China's been punishing Australia for daring to suggest that an independent inquiry into the origins of COVID might be a good idea.
Well, duh.
Beijing weaponised its trade in a way that sent some Australian industries to the wall, and Xi Jinping encouraged his military to play hardball with Australian forces. The Chinese Navy purposefully blasted Australian divers with sonar, and People's Liberation Army fighter jets detonated flares near an Australian chopper a few weeks after dropping chaff into the path of another.
And they did that because?
Because we flew near China's airspace in a threatening way. Australia is retaliating by welcoming China's Premier to Australia. Welcoming hard.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Because policies based on ensuring peace in our time always work out well.
Yeah, well, what's the alternative?
There is no alternative. China's been bullying us for 5 years, but international diplomacy isn't what Hugh Grant would have us believe.
And a friend who bullies us is no longer a friend.
In Love Actually, if a country is bullied, it stands up for itself and everything works out swell.
And since bullies only respond to strength, from now onward, I will be prepared to be much stronger.
And the Prime Minister can fire and then Roger, the much younger help, without fear of an unfair dismissal claim or a sexual harassment suit.
The reality is very different.
The act of standing up to a bully can have far-reaching consequences.
Put him up.
You could be hit with trade embargoes, the freezing of assets, and, as Iluka Resources has found out after it accused China of rigging rare earths prices, cyber attacks. So Australia is dealing with the threat the same way generations of school children have, by sucking up to the bully so they punch you last.
Art is my best friend now.
Unions are terrorising the playground at the
They
moment.
used to exist to ensure a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. Even better, a fair 4 days' work for 5 days' pay. But now they've got a federal Labor government too scared to rein them in, the unions are taking it out for a spin. CFMEU heavyweight John Setka wants the AFL to ice its head of umpiring, and not because of shit calls like these.
And it is holding the ball. Free kick to North Melbourne, directly in front of goals.
It's because Stephen McBurney used to be the head union kicker at the Australian Building and Construction Commission.
Who's pretty undemocratic, who actually belongs in North Korea, to be quite honest. He'd be right at home over there.
In retribution, the CFMEU is threatening to go slow on the new stadium in Hobart. Should have added that one to Li Qiang's travel itinerary: Canberra, Adelaide, Perth and Hobart.
It's the arse end of the universe.
that really would have been diplomatic payback. I'm Ben Harvey.